Hello everyone. As you can see, I'm outside the iconic Tower Bridge, which opened in 1894 and cost £1 million to build. A lot of people think it's a drawbridge, but it isn't. It's a bascule bridge. And the opening parts are operated by hydraulics. And until 1976, I'm forgetting my years, they were operated by steam power, but are now operated by electric and oil power. I'll be taking a closer look. Please join me. I'm Alan. I own a 45-foot narrowboat, have an interest in industrial heritage, transport and technology, and invite you to join me as I cruise, repair and maintain my boat and visit events and places of historic interest. This is the very well-known Shard, and just beneath it is HMS Belfast. By the 1870s, there were plenty of bridges across the River Thames to the west of London Bridge, but none to the east. In 1876, the Corporation of London invited proposals for a new bridge, and around 50 schemes were received. There was a requirement for level approaches either side of the river, and it needed a clearance of 43.5 metres for tall-masted sailing ships to pass under. Sir Horace Jones, the architect and surveyor for the corporation, put in a scheme for a bascule bridge, but it was rejected. With the assistance of Sir John Wolfe Barry, whose father Sir Charles Barry had designed the Houses of Parliament, a revised scheme was accepted by the Tower Bridge Act of 1885. This included 2 Gothic towers linked by pedestrian walkways. Construction started in 1886, took 8 years to complete, and involved the labour of 432 construction workers. 2 massive piers were built on foundations sunk into the riverbed to support the construction, and over 11,000 tons of steel provided the framework for the towers and walkways. The framework was clad in Cornish granite and Portland stone to give the bridge a pleasing appearance and to protect the steelwork from the elements. At the time it was built, Tower Bridge was the largest and most sophisticated bascule bridge ever completed. Bascule is a French word for seesaw. The bascules were operated by hydraulics, using steam raised from 3 boilers to power 2 enormous pumping engines, which pushed water into 6 massive storage containers called accumulators. The water is stored in these under high pressure, so power was always available when needed to lift the bridge. The accumulators fed 8 bascule drive engines, which drove the bascules up and down via 8 cogs of 1 metre diameter, 4 on each side, arranged in pairs. Despite the complexity of the system, the bascules only take 90 seconds to raise to their maximum angle of 86 degrees. The whole operation to open and close the bridge is about 2.5 minutes. The bascules are still operated by hydraulic power, but since 1976 have been driven by oil and electricity rather than steam. Building work started in April 1886, and it was estimated it would take 4 years to complete at a cost of £585,000. But it actually took 8 years to build, and the final cost was more than double at £1,184,000. Work was carried out at heights in excess of 30 metres, and with no safety netting there were many casualties. 10 men died and a further 29 were seriously injured. The most difficult part of the construction was the 2 foundation piers, which at the time were the largest bridge piers ever built. They were constructed inside steel caissons, which are watertight enclosures that were pumped dry to allow construction work to be carried out within them. Each pier was sunk nearly 8 metres deep into the clay riverbed. The bridge is 268 metres long. Walkways are 43.5 metres above the River Thames at high tide, and stretch 61 metres between the 2 towers of the bridge. They were designed to allow the public to cross the bridge when it was raised, but were closed in 1910 due to antisocial behaviour. They reopened in 1982. Some restoration work was undertaken to the bridge after it suffered minor damage during the Blitz of the Second World War. These works started in 1949 and took 3 years to complete. The original Welsh slate roof was replaced by Westmoreland green slate sourced from the Lake District. There are 206 steps up to the top of the North Tower, and I thought I'd show you most of them, so you get a good idea of what the towers are like inside. For those less able, each tower has a lift capable of holding up to 25 passengers.
Every time you go for a multi-legged yacht or a cruise liner, it's completely free, every single time. And then when you're ready, you'll just go through these doors, your first walkway, and fast forward. Thank you. Have a great day.
I am now walking onto the eastern walkway. The walkways give magnificent panoramic views over London. And when they reopened in 1982, had been partly encased in glass reinforced plastic to allow views down to the road deck below. Each glass panel weighs 530 kilograms. In 1952, a London bus had to leap from one bascule to the other when the bridge began to rise, This occurred because a watchman who was supposed to ring a warning bell and close the gates before the bridge opened forgot to do so. The driver was given a £10 reward, and when asked how he would spend it, replied, "5 for me and 5 for the missus." A similar incident with a Ford Capri is shown in the 1975 action film Brannigan, starring John Wayne and Sir Richard Attenborough. I'm entering the West Walkway, and from here one can look out and see HMS Belfast, a town-class light cruiser launched in 1938 for the Royal Navy. I'm now heading back down the stairs and will speed up some footage so you see it all, but not in real time. Hello. Hello. We carry on down here to the engine rooms, follow the blue line. That's great, thank you very much. Well, I'm now following the blue line to the engine rooms. I said earlier that power was generated by 3 Lancashire boilers, but I have also seen mention of 4, 2 being continuously fuelled by stokers working in shifts 24 hours a day to ensure there's enough steam power for the pumping engines to lift the bridge whenever required. One or possibly two boilers were kept on standby. Two horizontal tandem steam engines rated at 360 horsepower were used to provide power to the pumps to generate the hydraulic pressure to push water into the accumulators and effectively store energy by holding the water under high pressure. Their motion is now demonstrated by the use of compressed air. A third steam engine was added in 1942 during the Second World War in case the original ones were damaged by enemy action. This became redundant in 1974 and was donated to the Fawcett Industrial Steam Museum in Norfolk. These are two of the 6 accumulators that were used to raise and lower the bascules. Weighing 100 tons each, they store energy in the form of pressurized water. When the bridge needed to open, the accumulators lowered to push water into the drive engines, powering pistons to turn cogs connected to a rack on the back of the bascules, thus opening them for passing river traffic. Since the early 1970s, the bascules have been raised by an electro-hydraulic system. The bascules are in cavernous chambers with stepped access and are out of bounds to visitors, only being available to view on an occasional behind-the-scenes tour. Each bascule weighs over 1,200 tons and has a counterweight of 400 tons. This is the second of the 2 original steam engines. Any vessel which has a mast or superstructure of 9 meters or more wanting to enter or leave the upper pool of London needs to book a bridge lift. Application has to be made by email at least 24 hours in advance, and it's free and has been since 1894 when the bridge opened, as river traffic has priority. Bridge lift times are published on the Tower Bridge website, but these are now few and far between. Since 1973, the structure has been Grade 1 listed, being of exceptional special interest. There was a staff of 80 to run the bridge when it opened, but today that number is down to about 12. I hope you enjoyed that look at Tower Bridge. I found it absolutely fascinating. I very much like industrial heritage, and being born in London, anything London related is of particular interest. So many thanks for watching. Until next time, look after yourselves and take the utmost care. Thanks everyone. See you next time.